Imagine this.
A few years pass. You run into someone from your past, a batchmate, a classmate, someone who sat right next to you during exams.
You both smile, you hug, you start talking.
But within minutes, you realize something that makes your chest feel heavy.
They are talking about their promotions, their businesses, their travel, their growth.
And you are nodding along with nothing quite as exciting to add.
You laugh it off on the outside.
But on the inside, a voice whispers.
We started at the same point. What happened?
But that voice is not there to hurt you.
That voice is actually trying to wake you up.
Because the truth is, it is not too late. You have not missed your window. You are simply stuck in a loop that feels safe but is slowly costing you everything, your potential, your confidence, your time.
Here's what almost nobody talks about. Staying in your comfort zone does not feel dangerous. That's exactly why it is so dangerous.
It feels like rest. It feels like waiting for the right moment. But in reality, it is the one thing silently keeping you from the life you actually want.
There's one powerful decision, one real, honest moment of clarity that breaks that loop for good. And the people who have made that decision all say the same thing.
I just wish I had done it sooner.
Today, we're going to talk about exactly how to make that decision and what comes after.
Your time is now. Let's get into it.
Your daily dose of English fluency.
Welcome back to the Mr. English Master podcast, the place where real English meets real life, real growth, real confidence, real conversations that matter.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. And Sarah, I want to say something before we even get into today's topic.
What's that?
That hook, the classmate moment, I think every single person listening right now has felt that. Maybe not exactly that situation, but that feeling, that quiet, heavy realization that time has been passing and the life you imagined for yourself hasn't quite arrived yet.
It's one of the most universal human experiences, and it's also one of the least talked about because it's uncomfortable, because admitting it feels like admitting defeat.
But it's not defeat, it's awareness, and awareness is where everything begins.
Exactly. You cannot change what you cannot see. And today, we are going to help our listeners see it clearly. And, more importantly, we are going to give them the English and the framework to start talking about change, acting on change, and living through change.
Because this is Mr. English Master, and we do not just teach you English, we give you English that matters, English that moves your life forward.
Before we dive in, please like this episode, subscribe, and share it with someone who you know is ready for a change but hasn't quite taken the first step yet.
Especially that friend who has been saying, "This is my year," every January for the last 4 years.
Amusedly, with a vision board and everything, beautifully made, hanging right there on the wall.
The vision board is gorgeous. The action? We're unlocking that today. Let's go.
Okay, Sarah, let's start here. Why do people stay stuck? Because it's not stupidity, it's not laziness. There is actually a very real psychological reason why people stay in loops they know are not serving them.
Yes, and this is so important to understand, because if you don't understand why you're stuck, you will keep blaming yourself, and self-blame is one of the most powerful brakes on personal growth.
So what's the real reason?
The real reason is something called the familiarity bias. Your brain, as incredible as it is wired to prefer what it already knows, even if what it knows is uncomfortable, even if what it knows is making you miserable.
Because familiar feels safe?
Exactly. The unknown, even when it's better, feels threatening to your brain. Your brain says, I don't know what's out there, I know what's here, let's stay here.
Even if here is a job you hate, a routine that's draining you, a version of yourself that doesn't match who you know you could be.
Your brain will still choose familiar over uncertain every single time, unless you make a conscious, deliberate decision to override it.
And that deliberate decision, that is what we are calling the moment of clarity, the one real choice that breaks that loop for good.
And it's not a dramatic Hollywood moment. It's not a lightning bolt from the sky. It's usually a very quiet, very private moment where you simply stop lying to yourself.
That sounds a little harsh.
It does, but it's also the kindest thing you can do for yourself because the story most stuck people tell themselves is, I'm just waiting for the right time, or I'll start when things settle down, or I'm not ready yet.
And those stories, as understandable as they are not the truth. The truth is, there is no perfect time. Things never fully settle. And readiness is not a feeling you wait for, it's a choice you make.
Readiness is a choice you make. That is one of the most important sentences in today's episode. Write that down.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's talk about what change actually looks like and give our listeners the English to describe it, talk about it, and move through it.
So, the first thing we need to understand is that change doesn't happen all at once. It happens in stages, and each stage has its own emotional texture, its own feeling, and its own vocabulary in English.
Let's walk through those stages.
Stage 1, recognition. This is the moment you realize something needs to change. It might be that classmate moment from the hook. It might be a quiet Sunday evening where the weight of an unlived life just lands on you.
In English, you might describe this stage by saying, I reached a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore, or something clicked. I just saw things clearly for the first time in a long time. Or I had this moment where I thought, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
If nothing changes, nothing changes. That phrase is so simple and so devastatingly true.
It really is. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. That's not pessimism, that's just physics.
Stage 2, decision. This is the moment you choose. Not the moment you think about choosing, not the moment you tell yourself you'll decide soon, the actual moment of decision.
And in English, the language of decision is active, strong, present tense or committed future tense.
I've decided to make a change. Not I'm thinking about making a change. I've decided.
I'm committing to this. I'm done waiting. I'm choosing differently starting now.
I'm done waiting. Ugh, that one carries so much weight, so much liberation in 3 words.
Because waiting has a passive energy. It says, I am at the mercy of time and circumstance. But I'm done waiting says, I am taking control right now.
Stage 3, action. And this is where most people either fly or stall again.
Why do they stall at this stage if they've already decided?
Because action requires a plan, and a lot of people confuse motivation with a plan. Motivation gets you started, a plan keeps you going.
So what does the language of action look like in English?
I've started taking steps toward, I'm building toward something new. I'm taking it one day at a time. I've made a commitment to myself. I'm showing up for myself even on the hard days.
Showing up for myself. That is such a powerful phrase, because showing up doesn't mean everything goes perfectly. It just means you came, you tried, you were present.
Exactly. On the days when motivation is gone, when the progress feels invisible, when you wonder why you even started, showing up is the whole job.
Stage 4, resistance, because it always comes. Always.
Always. Nobody talks about this enough. You make the decision, you take the first steps, and then life pushes back. Old habits creep in, doubt creeps in. The familiar comfort zone starts whispering, come back, it was easier here.
And in English, you'll hear people describe this stage as, I hit a wall, or I almost gave up around the 3-week mark, or there were days I questioned everything. Or I had to remind myself why I started.
I had to remind myself why I started. That is the most important tool during resistance, going back to your why.
Your why is the emotional fuel, the deeper reason behind the change. Not, I want a better job, but I want my children to see that it's possible. Not, I want to learn English, but I want to walk into any room in the world and belong there.
When you connect to that, the resistance gets smaller, not gone, smaller, and smaller is enough to keep moving.
Stage 5, transformation. This is not a single moment either. It's a slow dawning, a gradual realization that you are not the same person who stood at the beginning of this journey.
And in English, people describe this with beautiful, quiet language. I started to feel like myself again, or I barely recognize the person I used to be, or something shifted. I can't pinpoint exactly when, but I know I'm different.
Something shifted. That phrase, so simple but so accurate. Change doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it just settles quietly. And one day you look up and realize things are different. I am different.
Now I want to talk about something that our listeners might not expect in a language podcast, but it belongs here completely. And that is the inner voice.
The inner voice?
The voice in your head that either pushes you forward or holds you back. Because for a lot of English learners, the inner voice is not in English. It's in their native language. And that matters more than people realize.
Oh, this is such a good point. Because the language you think in shapes the emotional weight of your thoughts.
Exactly. When your doubt speaks to you in your native language, it has the full emotional power of that language. It feels close, familiar, real.
But when you start replacing your inner voice, even partially with English, something interesting happens. The doubt gets a little quieter, a little more distant, because it doesn't quite fit as snugly in the new language.
And meanwhile, your English affirmations, your English goals, your English plans start to feel more real, more present, more yours.
So part of changing your life is changing the language your inner voice speaks. And the way you do that is exactly what we teach here, every episode. You practice, you speak, you think, you write, in English, consistently, until it becomes the language not just of your mouth, but of your mind.
Okay, let's talk about one more thing before the word tour. And that is, how do you talk to other people about the changes you're making?
Because this is tricky, because not everyone in your life will be excited about your growth. And you need English for those conversations too.
Right. When you decide to change, some people cheer for you, but some people, unconsciously or not, will question you, push back, make you feel like you're being unrealistic.
And you need to be able to hold your ground, calmly, confidently in English.
So, here are some phrases for those conversations. When someone questions your decision, you can say, I understand your concern, but I've given this a lot of thought. Or, I appreciate you looking out for me, and I've made my decision. Or, I know it might not make sense from the outside, but from where I'm standing, it's the right move.
From where I'm standing. That is such a grounded, confident phrase. It says, I have a perspective. It is informed, and I trust it.
And when you want to share your change with someone supportive, I've decided to take a new direction in my life. Or, I'm working on becoming a better version of myself. Or, I'm building something. It's early, but I'm really excited about it.
I'm building something, even if the something is just a new habit, a new mindset, a new daily routine. You are building, and that is worth saying out loud.
Okay, word tour time. Let's lock in today's most powerful vocabulary.
Word tour, let's go.
First, familiarity bias, the tendency of the brain to prefer what it already knows, even when something better is available. My familiarity bias kept me in a job that wasn't right for me for 2 extra years. Or, understanding familiarity bias helped me realize why change felt so scary, even when I knew it was necessary.
Next, deliberate. When something is deliberate, it is done on purpose, with full intention and awareness, not by accident, not by default. Making a change requires a deliberate decision. Or, I'm being deliberate about how I spend my time now.
Then, stall. To stall means to stop making progress, to get stuck in place after initially moving. I had a great start, but then I stalled around week 3. Or, most people don't fail, they stall, and stalling is fixable.
Resistance. In the context of personal change, resistance is the internal and external pushback you face when you try to grow or change. Resistance is normal. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something new. Or, learning to move through resistance instead of away from it is what separates people who change from people who don't.
Transformation. A deep, lasting change, not just in behavior, but in identity. Who you are, not just what you do. Transformation is slow. It's not a moment, it's a season. Or, the transformation I've gone through in the last year has changed how I see everything.
Commitment. A serious, firm promise to yourself or others, backed by consistent action over time, not just intention. Motivation gets you started. Commitment keeps you going. Or, I made a commitment to myself and I'm honoring it, even on the difficult days.
Dawning. A slow, gradual realization, like the sun rising. Not sudden, not dramatic, but undeniable once it arrives. There was a slow dawning that things had actually changed. Or, the dawning realization that I was different now. That was one of the best feelings I've ever had.
Hold your ground. To maintain your position or decision firmly and calmly when someone challenges or pressures you. When people questioned my choice, I learned to hold my ground without being defensive. Or, holding your ground doesn't mean being aggressive, it means being clear.
Enthusiasm. Liberated. Feeling free, released from something that was limiting or constraining you. The moment I made the decision, I felt completely liberated. Or, letting go of a life that wasn't mine felt terrifying and liberating at the same time.
9 words that are not just useful for English, they're useful for life, for thinking about your own story, for describing your own journey.
And your challenge today, use one of these words to describe something that is true for you right now. Right now, I feel liberated because, or I've been stalling on, or I'm making a deliberate decision to. Say it out loud. Write it down. Make it real.
Action steps. What do you do after this episode ends?
Step 1, identify your loop. What is the one thing in your life right now that you know needs to change, but you've been circling around without acting? Name it. In English, write it down. The loop I'm stuck in is. Step 2,
Write your moment of clarity. Even if it hasn't happened yet, write what it would look like. I know it's time to change when. Finishing that sentence is sometimes the moment of clarity itself.
Step 3, choose one stage. Look at the 5 stages we covered. Recognition, decision, action, resistance, transformation. Which stage are you in right now? Just knowing where you are is a powerful act of self-awareness.
Step 4, say one sentence about your change out loud, using the phrases from today. I've decided to. I'm done waiting for. I'm building toward. One sentence, out loud, right now.
Step 5, share it. Write your sentence in the comments. Tell us where you are in the journey. Tell us what you're changing. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to read today.
Because that is the power of this community. We are not just learning English here. We are learning English so that our real voices, our real dreams, our real decisions can finally be heard by the world.
Final recap. Let's bring it all home.
You are not stuck because you are lazy or weak. You are stuck because your brain prefers the familiar, even when familiar is costing you everything.
The moment of clarity is not a lightning bolt. It's a quiet decision to stop lying to yourself and start choosing differently.
Change happens in stages: recognition, decision, action, resistance, transformation. Each stage is normal. Each stage is necessary.
The language you use, to yourself and to others, shapes the reality you build. Speak about your change actively, specifically, and with conviction.
And when resistance comes, because it will, go back to your why. That is where your fuel lives.
You have not missed your window. You are not too late. The only moment that matters for change is the one you are in right now.
And the people who look back on their lives without regret are not the people who waited for perfect conditions. They are the people who decided, imperfectly, nervously, without all the answers, and started anyway.
That person can be you. That person is you the moment you decide.
Now, your turn. One question for the comments today. What is one thing you are changing or want to change starting right now? Tell us in English using one phrase from today.
We read every single comment, and we are rooting for every single one of you.
If today's episode moved you even a little bit, please like it, subscribe to Mr. English Master, and share it with someone who needs to hear that it is not too late, that their time is now.
Because sometimes the right words at the right moment change everything. We hope today's words were that for you.
This was the Mr. English Master podcast with Sarah and Alex.
Until next time, make the decision, hold your ground, and keep building the life that was always meant to be yours.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care. We'll see you next time.